Speaker Mudashiru Obasa of the Lagos State House of Assembly has facilitated with Muslims in Nigeria and across the world for the successful conclusion of this year's holy month of Ramadan, when Muslims observed Psalm. Dr. Obasa noted that the grace given Muslims during the fasting period, which culminates in this year's Eid al-Fitr, is a renewal of the need to constantly show gratitude to Almighty Allah for His provision, His love, and protection.
The House Committee on Education on Wednesday morning embarked on an oversight visit to the Lagos State University. This visit, led by Honorable Owolabi Ajani, was to assess the state of a newly built hostel and accommodation, the institution's new Senate building, as well as to deliberate on what the state can do to round off all the infrastructure on the way.
Of this.
During the visit, the Vice-Chancellor of the university, Professor Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello, expressed appreciation to members of the committee for the support given to the institution while the lawmakers took a tour of the hostel facilities.
The one programs now that is currently being assessed by NUC. This morning I welcomed about 8 NUC teams who came to look at our resources to start new programs like architecture, building, quantity surveying, estate management, civil engineering, and pharmacy. I mentioned architecture, industrial design, fine arts that includes sculpture and so on. We are starting these new programs: physiotherapy, medical laboratory science, and science laboratory technology, special education. There are so many, and so on. The list is, we cannot exhaust it now, because as we are talking now, I received a message that they want to come and start a school of optometry in Lasso. That's the association of the Council of Optometry in Nigeria. They said they want to come to Southwest, and they are looking at Lasso. So Lagos State University is moving forward, and our the vision of my administration is to take Lagos State University to the top in West Africa, and we have been working hard on that. Lagos State, we have 6 strategic goals that we are working on, and every quarter we measure ourselves and see how far we have gone with our goals. The first goal is to make sure that all our accredited programs will remain accredited. NUC will not, or the professional bodies will not withdraw any accreditation while I am in office. And new programs will also get accredited, and the ones that have been denied accreditation will get accredited.
Also, this newly completed Senate building.
Professor Bello also revealed her plans to introduce some new courses, which will include industrial design, fine art, physiotherapy, and special education, among others, to the varsity's curriculum, while also reiterating her commitment to make LASU the best West African university.
Passion. I've seen how dedicated you are towards moving the institution forward. I was even privileged to travel to the United Kingdom with you and see just how much you are planning towards developing I'd say, adding a new tone to the way education is done in our state, or even in our continent, throughout the whole of Africa. I think what you are planning to do, or what you are doing with the TTOs, is amazing work, and I'd really love to see that come into fruition. But we'll go straight to the reasons why we came here today. not only to see the institution as a whole and to see where you have been or see where you are going or see where we can help, but it's also to keenly look at some key facets, which is the state of the hostels and accommodations. I know we've had issues with that going back and forth for a couple of years now. Students routinely complain about not having enough accommodation, and we simply know that's because this is one of the most favored institutions in the country. So that is why you're having that issue, but it shouldn't be an issue that we can't overcome. So those are one of the things that we're here to assess here today. Also, this newly completed Senate building, we've been on it for a while. We saw it recurring in the budget once and again, so we'd like to see just how much we've done with that, just how much we have left to do, and what else the state can do in terms of offering support towards completely finishing all the infrastructural projects that we have on ground. Admissions, the 85% cutoff mark for medicine, 85.88, okay. So we have been having a lot of students crying and bailing over the fact that they have been unable to enter medicine directly. And we know the issues we have in our country right now with the Jackpot syndrome that we have of our medical graduates. So I think we are in a privileged enough position as being an educational institution to try and find something we can do to help our nation. We're in that situation at the moment where we must do as much as possible to get more medicine students on board rather than cutting them off due to cutoff mark. So we need to find something to do in that avenue to make sure that we get as much medical students graduating from our West African schools and working in West Africa as much as possible. I think that's very important for us.
The meeting concluded with the Deputy Vice-Chancellor of the institution thanking members of the Assembly for their support and visits. Residents of Ifako-Jai local government area of the state have expressed appreciation to their representative in the parliament for his contributions towards the growth of the community. They said this during the presentation of free JAMB forms to some students in the area. Hundreds of students thronged the Unity Center in Ajumoshe Ifako area of Lagos, venue of the presentation of free JAMB forms to 1,000 students by Honorable Adewale Temitope Adedeji Educational Initiatives.
Brought it out so that they will not say that it's a white envelope.
This is not the first time that the Lawmaker will be supporting students within his constituency. This time, more students are benefiting from this gesture.
What God has given us here in Ifako, the local government, we have people looking for it elsewhere, all over the country. But we're blessed with Honorable Temitope Adewale Adedeji. We thank God for giving him to us. All what he has been doing, we appreciate. And the students, Ababi said earlier, you have opportunities that you have on ground for you. Honorable Temitope is ready, is willing, and is doing it, and he will continue to do it. So please, hold on to that education, do well in your studies, read well, study well, make good marks, and apart from the benefits that you get from it, the sky will be your starting point.
There is that, I'm talking about that shortage of intellectualism. You don't read the game. Like what our Oga said there, you just want to be playing. When I come to you, I tell you the truth, you know me, I mean. Àwọn màmá, àwọn ọmọ tẹ́ ẹ bí ẹ sọ fún ọkọ kàwé wọn dáadáa. Ẹ máa ṣe dẹ̀gbẹ́dẹ̀gbẹ́ fún wọn torí ọjọ́ ọ̀la. When you look at it, it is generalization. at times it's very rare that even with our population to see those that are shooting up. I don't know how many literature guys. Thank God for our teaching, because they are teaching in the East. I don't even know another person. You know when you make papers. For you to grow and make it in life, money will come, but you must work hard. Nothing stops you, even when you get admission to university or any higher institution. You start planning, what do I do? Start writing books. Science, let me develop something. Think very well. Not only to have that education certificate, start looking for job. Those are the things that will make you great. Your aspiration must be to be a great person.
While evaluating the success of the initiative, which began 4 years ago, representative of the Lawmaker at the event highlighted the impact on students in the area.
Nobody will be proud that you want to be a cultist or you want to be a prostitute. You all want to be medical doctors, want to be lawyers, want to be veterinary doctors. But this is the foundation. This is the foundation of it. And Honorable Adewale Ja, he has set a template for you. He has given you an opportunity which you have to grab, which you have to use it very, very well. And you will always remember him in your prayers. That somebody that has done this for us, he is not your father, he is not your mother. Though he is a representative, but in most of the local governments, I cannot count one or two that will surpass Honorable Adewale Ja in what he is doing for us in this local government. And we really, really appreciate him. And we really want to say thank you. I am even saying thank you on behalf of the students, because he has done well, he is doing well, and he will continue to do well. So today, he's going to give over 1,000 students free JAMB forms. When you are giving free JAMB forms, you have to study very well. He has also prepared for you free lessons. And if you do very well, most of you, your admission is on a platter of gold. He will do it for you easily. He has done it and he will continue to do it. He gives scholarship for exceptional students. Think of it. In your prayers, you always have to remember him. You always have to remember him. And you have to make him proud by being a good student, both in your behavior and in your academics. So today is another opportunity for you. So grab it and use it very well.
Imagine you leaving the house.
Having gone through various stages of screening, the beneficiaries were picked based on merit.
What is happening in Ifakojayi of recent through our House of Assembly member, Honorable Adewale Temitope, has been one of his kind in Ifakojayi. He started this program 4 years ago, just like a child play. And till now, the man is still doing very wonderful things in the life of students of Ifakojayi. You know how expensive education is nowadays. And that assistance the man is giving is really helping a lot. And is really bringing more students up. And I believe with this, is a target to be surpassed.
Honorable Temitope Adedeji Ata, as we popularly call him, he has tried his best to contribute his own quota as to raise and to provide standard education for this constituency and the Ifakojayi as a whole, because not only the people of his constituency, which is the constituency one, that benefit this, he extended this hand of fellowship to the other constituency, which is the Ifakojayi constituency to Ojokoro. So he has tried his own best, and I can only advise the students, the EDG students, that they are beneficiary of this JAMB form, that they should try their own best to read very well, so that they can pass their exams, they can do well, because they are already at the age or the stage whereby they need to build. This is the stage they can build on that will help them in their future, whatever they want to be.
Honorable Adewale Temitope tried for us that he gave us 1,000 free JAMB form. Last year he gave them 200. but this year he gave us 1,000, and I'm very, very good about that because I'm part of them. Last year I was unable to be part of them too, but this year I was able to be part of them, and I promise to be. I promise to make Temitope proud of me by giving me good score in my JAMB 4.
I plan to bring out the best in me, going extra mile to study so that he can know that he has done a great job by helping us out, bringing out the best, doing necessity at the right time. So I hope God help him. That was a lot of relief from our parents because he really helped us, and we are glad, we are happy, and we are grateful. So we pray that God continues to bless him and replenish his pocket, and may he continue to prosper in his political careers.
I feel so excited and overwhelmed and very opportune to be part of the beneficiary of free jam from ATA. My plan towards the exam is to try my best, give it all my whole best and my effort to pass out in flying colours, to make him proud for investing in us and to my parents also. I want to say a very big thank you to Honourable Adewale Temitope Adedeji for giving us the opportunity to showcase our talents in our academics, and thank you for investing in us, and may God continue to bless him and replenish his pocket.
I really thank him. I thank him very much. God will provide for him. God will enrich his pocket.
A report by UNICEF presently shows that Nigeria has the highest rate of out-of-school children in the world. With initiatives like this, Temitope Adewale believes that the statistics can be reduced. A member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Adidamola Kasumu, has urged Nigerians to emulate the selfless and humble lifestyle of the late Alhaji Abibatu Mogaji, mother of Nigeria's president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The lawmaker said this at the Maiden edition of a Ramadan lecture organized in honor of the late Matriarch. He also urged Muslims faithful to imbibe the teachings of the holy month. It's the maiden edition of the Abibatu Mogaji Ramadan lecture. The late mother of Nigeria's president-elect and the former governor of Lagos, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The lecture was organized by Lawmaker representing Ikeja constituency and the state parliament, Adidamola Kasumu, in honor of the late Matriarch. The program, which held in Lagos, attracted Muslim faithful from far and wide. As a woman who led the Association of Nigerian Marketmen and Women in the country for many years, it is not a surprise to see members of the association in the state celebrating their leader 10 years after her demise. Known for her legacy as seen in the huge contributions the late Abibatu Mogaji made towards the socio-economic and political development of Lagos and the country at large, the event created the opportunity to talk about her life and times and the need for Muslims to emulate her lifestyle.
These are virtues that we have obviously learnt from our parents, and we want to keep it going. And that is why we said today we celebrate the likes of Alhaji Abibatu Mogaji for living an exemplary life, and which is what we have centered this lecture on today, so that it wouldn't just be beneficial to us as family members, but the entire citizenry as a whole, as Muslims. And I believe that this season would continue to have us in a better situation by next year. The way we've had it this year, I'm sure we'll have a better lecture the next year. I'm quite impressed with the turnout already.
The lecture was themed Generosity in Islam, the late Abibatu Mogaji's example, and the necessity of prayers for the incoming government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Try to do our best when we were in our life. We should try to train our children too, because out of training the children, this is the result of it. Honorable Kasumu is here today to remember his own mom. Today's own too teach us that you teach your children the right path. When you pray for the dead one, you remember also to pray for the living one. So the essence of today is just to pray. You know, we are in Ramadan period where we render prayer for our loved one. So today's own is just only prayer.
Today, Richard Kansumo, the legislator representing Ikeja 2, is organized a prayer for our late mother, died 10 years ago, Alhaji Abibatu Mogaji, in remembrance of our hard work, and then also to pray for the family, for our father, Jagaban Bogu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, so that God should spare his life, God should give him wisdom, so that we'll come mid-29, when he's sworn in, good things will come back to Nigeria. My message is that the tenet of Muslim is to give. We should continue to give and then pray for unity and love for our country, Nigeria.
Guest lecturer Alhaji Ibrahim Olorunbebe spoke extensively on the importance of the event. Muslim faithful are asked to not only observe the fast, but also imbibe the teachings of the holy month.
We have no message from the governor, sir.
Lagos State House of Assembly has ordered the immediate withdrawal of letters of appointment given to certain government appointees whose nominations were not brought before the House for screening and confirmation. These formed deliberations at plenary on Tuesday. The day's business kicked off with the lawmakers calling for immediate halting of salaries and other benefits enjoyed by certain government appointees. Their nominations were not sent to the House for the legislature's approval.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we have no message from the governor, sir.
Any other announcements?
There is none, sir.
Petitions?
None, sir.
This is coming exactly 1 week after the lawmakers flagged a similar act of infraction by certain agencies of the state, citing Section 196, subsection 2 and other sections of Nigeria's constitution, which gave the House powers of approval of nominations for any governor appointees. The lawmakers say the growing trend of outright disregard for the law by the executive arm must be nipped in the bud.
On appointees who were given appointments without appearing before this noble House of Assembly, and a clearance was not issued. Section 196, subsection 2 of the Federal Republic of Nigeria Constitution as authored provides that the number of such advisors and their remuneration and allowances shall be as prescribed by law. Like the issue of Auditor General that I just mentioned now, the Auditor General was appointed on the 22nd of September 2022, and today we are in the 11th of April 2023. I think that appointment, the Auditor General is acting in acting capacity, and it has exceeded what 126.3 says about that area. So my prayer, sir, Mr. Speaker, sir, 1, to call on the governor of the state, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, to adhere with the provision of Section 198 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and laws passed by the Lagos State House of Assembly in respect of appointment and reappointment of members of boards and agencies.
Reacting to the issue which was raised under matters of urgent public importance by the Deputy Majority Leader, Nohim Adams, the Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, say appointments of nominees without recourse to the House amounts to infractions.
The executive have the right to appoint people, while we as the legislature have the right to either confirm, screen, or reject whatever appointment. I want to appreciate the prime mover of this motion. And I want to ask if the House can set up a committee to look at this thing holistically. Otherwise, if our hand is not brought to it, it will continue to be in the same way and to not help the doctrine of separation of power to ensure that the state gets the maximum benefit that they derive from democracy.
There's a difference between nomination and appointment. Appointment will only come after the nominees must have appeared before this House, and this House had given his clearance. And that's the only time I think a letter of appointment is supposed to be issued. I know a lot of people are out there collecting salaries, and any matter that has to do with appropriation, which this house has power of an operation, I think we have the power to determine. If somebody is not cleared by this house and is collecting salaries or remunerations, I think it's an infraction and it's criminal, because it's collecting the money that is not well appropriated by this house or prescribed by this house. Because whatever, any line of the appropriation, including salary, remuneration, and the likes, is within the purview of this house, and if anybody is given such remuneration without recourse to this house, or is not cleared by this house, is an infraction, is collecting the money that is not meant for him, and I am of the opinion that such money is supposed to be returned back into our covers.
The laws of this house has in them statutory provisions that says some of the governors nominally must appear, which they have not done. And it's becoming common and regular. I share your sentiment that there's a need for us to act on this so that we can put stop to it. So I think it is important to invite them beyond writing letters, and immediately those that have started receiving salaries should be stopped immediately, and the letter issued to them by the head of service should be withdrawn, pending their appearance before this house.
The lawmakers want their letters of appointment withdrawn immediately. They also want the state head of service, Mr. Akim Muri Okunola, the Accountant General of the state, Abiodun Muritala, and the State Commissioner for Establishment, Mrs. Ajubola Bonle, to be summoned for further clarifications on the issues raised.
This house stands adjourned, Senator. I rise.
As the inauguration of the 10th Assembly in Lagos draws closer, a former Speaker of the House, Adeyemi Ikufuruja, shared his thoughts on the composition of the incoming Assembly, which will be made up of 20 new members having seats in the Parliament. He is also optimistic about the performance of the House as it warms up to begin legislative business.